I am delighted to welcome an individual and remarkable woman. Our keynote speaker today is a global business leader with a proven track record of success at companies like Procter & Gamble, PwC, and Citibank. She has not only excelled in the corporate world, but has also become a leading voice in empowering women and underrepresented groups. With a passion for breaking down barriers and unlocking human potential, our speaker has created a powerful framework to help individuals overcome limiting beliefs and achieve extraordinary results. She is an author, executive advisor, an entrepreneur who has been recognized for her impactful work with numerous awards, including the top 100 Latina leaders. Please welcome Valeria Aloe.
Buenos días. Good morning. Honorable Takisha Way, Ms. Marilyn Rivera, Dr. Yvonne Diaz-Clays, and the CHPRD and HISPA teams, thank you for having me today. It is an honor to be here. To the 2024 class of the Governor's Hispanic Fellows Program, felicidades. Congratulations on this major achievement of completing this best-in-class program, and I hope you're super proud of yourselves. I love the diversity in your class, covering mostly every college and university in New Jersey, with fields of study in many branches of STEM and humanities. It's really impressive. A las familias, a los padres presentes y a los seres queridos de los graduados de hoy, gracias por estar aquí. Su presencia es muy importante para ellos y gracias por apoyarlos en seguir sus sueños e ir por más. So my name is Valeria Aloe, and I'm a proud immigrant. To this country I decided to call my home. I will take a few minutes to share my story. I was born in General Belgrano, a small rural town in Argentina that had more cows than people. That's real up to this day. I come from humble beginnings, from a hardworking family that believed in education as a way forward, even though none of my ancestors had real access to it. My dad aspired to become an accountant, but had to start working at the age of 11 and could not attend high school. My mom had a dream of becoming a teacher, but education in college was not available for her as a woman in my small town. I was blessed, like so many of you, to take it a step farther, to have that opportunity. I became the first one to go to college, a bold vision, a big dream my parents held for me, even though they had no financial means to pay for it, but we did it. I moved to Buenos Aires and worked full-time while I attended college. I graduated with 2 college degrees with honors and became the first in my family to work in a corporate job. And let me tell you, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to dress up for that space. I didn't know how to navigate that space. I felt nervous and anxious most of the time, and I could not even relax and enjoy my accomplishments. What I did is I observed what others did, and I did the same. I learned. In 2001, which seems like a long time ago, I got married. And a year later, I came to the US to pursue my MBA at the Tax School of Business at Dartmouth. Argentina was facing a huge economic crisis, and a friend of my husband said, maybe you should study an MBA. I had no idea of what an MBA was or what I was getting into, but I said, is that education? I'm in. And I said, yes. I took the risk and left my country and my family. Education transformed my life in ways I cannot even start to describe. It opened doors that were locked for my ancestors. I accumulated 20 years of work experience in global corporations in 7 countries, became a mom to 2 children who are now teenagers, and trained to be a full-time mother and a full-time professional, Riding a high-speed train in 2016, I burnt out. As you will read in my book, Uncolonized Latinas, that I'm blessed that you're receiving a copy as part of this program, which I am proud to have written in my second language, I not only burnt out, I also suffered a concussion and broke my right foot. Life stopped me back in 2016. And I believe that was because I was not living my own life, but somebody else's life. I was trying to make everybody happy, placing myself last. When I rose from the ashes, I decided to center my life around a big purpose, supporting our Latinas and Latinos achieve, people like us, achieve our highest potential, highest possible potential, and supporting our community into stepping into leadership positions, and to do so with confidence. Since I left my hometown a long time ago, 18 years ago, a lot happened. But there was a common thread. I was always the first in my family in those spaces. I was generally the only Latina in the room. And for those who will start your journey of a full-time job very soon, raise your hand. Who of you are starting a job very soon? You will know what that means to be the only one in the room, the only Latina. Many times I felt I was not 100% sure of what I was doing, and I felt uncomfortable and out of place. Other times, I felt like a second-class citizen, embarrassed of my accent, and thinking that because I come from a culture that was labeled third world, I did not have the same skills or I could not make the same contributions as others around me. Can you relate to any of this? I know I am not alone. We are not alone. There are millions of Latinas and Latinos in the US that feel this way. The problem is, because we feel this way, we start holding back our potential, robbing ourselves of the opportunity to be the best possible version of ourselves, and even worse, robbing this country, our home, of the gift of our important and valuable contributions. Now you may wonder, how do we change this? And I'm glad you asked. In the remaining time we have together, I will share with you 3 areas of focus for you to achieve your highest version of yourself, particularly when you are the only in the room, which is very uncomfortable, as we know. Area number 1, be a rebel. A rebel against what? Be a rebel, and rebel against the belief that you are not good enough. Many in our Latino community secretly carry a heavy weight. We feel inadequate, lacking, or not good enough. We compare ourselves to others and secretly feel we do not measure up. We believe others could do it better than us, that their ideas perhaps are more interesting, or that they are more prepared than us to take that big project or job opportunity. And it makes sense we feel that way. We come from a culture that was labeled less than. So let me remind you for a second who we truly are. We are 20% of the US today. There are 60 million Latinos here in this country. This is larger than more than 20, the population is larger than more than 20 countries in Latin America, except for only Brazil and Mexico. In 2060, we are going to be 30% of the US. That's 111 million Latinos. 1 every 4 people you cross down the road will be Latina or Latino. Because a Latina or Latino turns 18 years old every 30 seconds in the US, in the next 10 years, we're going to account for 80% of net new jobs. And today, before we're even 30%, this is today, we contribute $3.2 trillion to the US economy. So if we Latinos and Latinas were our own country, we would be the 5th largest economy on the planet, and the 3rd fastest growing, right behind China and India. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. So if numbers show our undeniable power, how is it possible that we feel inadequate, lacking, or not good enough? I invite you to change the way you think about yourself, knowing that who you are and what you bring to the table has huge value. Let's bring at 100% our cultural values without discounting their importance to transform this country. Our creativity, resilience, leadership, resourcefulness, work ethic, ability to create relationships, empathy, and collective versus individual thinking. Those are great qualities of successful leaders, and that is who we are. So area of focus number 1 is I'll quiz you, be a rebel and know you're good enough. Rebel against the inner critic and believe in your heart that who you are is enough and matters. But in a week from now, all those statistics I share with you may not be enough when you're in those rooms as the only one with that loud voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough. So what to do in those cases? How to build self-confidence? Do we want to build more self-confidence? I know I do. How do you build self-confidence? By keeping your word and doing what you said you were going to do. Because when you do something, when you promise yourself to do something, a part of you puts energy behind that goal. But if you don't accomplish that goal, or if you cheat yourself, the credits in your self-confidence bank account decreases. But when you do what you said you were going to do, the credits in your self-confidence bank account increases, and you start showing to yourself that you can. And today is a perfect example. Your graduation from this amazing program demonstrates that you can finish what you start, that you can do what you promised to do. And I'm hoping that you're aware of the importance of this day to increase the balance in your self-confidence account. So area of focus number 2 is keep your word. Excellent. Excellent. A+. Now let's focus on area number 3, mind the roadmap. And I'm sharing these 3 areas because this is what we struggle the most in our community. And that's why I quiz you as well. What is a roadmap? So I mentioned to you that I had no idea what I was doing. So I made it a mission as part of my life and work to help us understand what works for people like us, not what works for somebody else. I wanted to know what works for Latinos and Latinas to get ourselves into spaces of power, leadership, decision-making, and wealth creation. And you received that roadmap as part of this program. This program gave you the roadmap, but I want to point out 3 critical parts because that's what we resist the most. Number 1, talk about your accomplishments. We were culturally taught to be modest because talking about ourselves is a show-off, right? So we need to shift 180 degrees from this way of thinking. You must talk about yourself with great pride to keep going higher and forward in the US. It must be done. You must talk about yourself. And be proud because these are your accomplishments after all. So your homework for today is to let every person you know that you graduated from this program to put that on LinkedIn. And doing so, you are going to be building your professional brand. It's very important that you share the greatness of who you are. Number 2, give your opinion, particularly if it is different. Now, when I used to give my opinion at home growing up, and it was different, it was not well taken by my parents. But let me tell you, in this country, it is expected that you give your opinion, particularly if it is different. Because we were taught to keep culturally peaceful relationships with people, a no hacer lío o calladita te ves más bonita. That doesn't work here, let me tell you. Who better than you to help non-Latinos understand how to best serve the Latino market, which, as we saw, is huge and growing. You have the keys to that knowledge. Don't discount your life experiences, assuming that what you know, others know as well. Let me tell you, they don't know it. They haven't been in your shoes. That knowledge is power. So your homework is speak up and share your opinion and what you know, even if it is different from others. Or I would say particularly if it is different from others. And number 3, and I left the best for last, most important, build your social capital, build your network. Now, this is something we don't do enough. Culturally, we prefer to put our head down, do the work, because we were told if you work really hard, you will succeed, right? So we prefer to work hard rather than going to networking events and talk to strangers, right? So this is such a paradox. Our culture is an expert at building relationships. Did you ever see a white American going to one of our Latin American countries and coming back and complaining about it? I haven't seen it. They love it. They love our culture. They love our food. They love our people. They love us. So how is it possible that we struggle to build authentic relations in the workplace if we are experts on that and we know how to make people feel good, right? And by the way, research shows that 60% of your professional success, 60%, is determined by who you know, particularly people in spaces of power and decision-making who can become your mentors and sponsors. Now, this program gave you access to a lot of new people. Start right there. Make sure you nurture those relationships and keep creating new ones. So your homework, meet people, shake hands, ask questions like Miguel does, that asks many questions, I heard that before. Connect with them and ask for guidance. Your network or social capital will be your most valuable asset, I promise you that, and one that our community must learn to build. So vamos a repasar. Area number 1, be a rebel and know you are enough. Area number 2, keep your word to build self-confidence. And area number 3, mind a roadmap. Excellent. I know who has all the answers. I keep my eyes on you. So share your accomplishments, share your opinion, particularly if it is different, and most important, build your social capital. So to wrap up, we need you. Our society needs you. As you keep growing and breaking down barriers, what I call push up, always, always, always remember to pull up, which is extending a hand to supporting other Latinas and Latinos who are coming and walking right behind you. This can be the most rewarding role you ever have in your life, and I know this for experience. You are now in the CHPRD and HISPA networks. I am a proud HISPA role model myself. We visit middle schools and high schools, and we inspire Latinos and Latinas to pursue their college education. Did you know that many Latinos and Latinas in those spaces believe that college is not for people like us? They think that Latinos and Latinas don't go to college, that that's not an open possibility for them. Please help us change that and become a role model. The time is now. Don't wait until you lead an organization or you become an elected official. You can be an agent of change today. And finally, un mensaje para los padres en la sala, a message for the parents. Como madre de 2 adolescentes, intentar imponerle a mis hijos mi forma de ver las cosas y mis lentes culturales no me funcionó nunca. It never worked for me what I always get beat up by them, by the way. So, me la devuelven cuando intento hacer eso. Entonces, we are not just navigating different times, we are navigating different cultures. No son tiempos diferentes lo que estamos navegando. Con nuestros hijos estamos navegando culturas distintas. Nuestros hijos unen lo mejor de la cultura de la mente y lo mejor de la cultura del corazón. Our kids merge the best of the culture of the heart and the culture of the mind. They are not just our future, they are our present. No solo son nuestro futuro, son nuestro presente. Y necesitamos dejar que ellos nos guíen, porque ellos están abriendo paso en una forma que es muy distinta a la forma en que nosotros nos abrimos paso. Para cerrar, in the words of a dear friend, Ana Valdez, president of LDC, if as the parents created the 5th largest economy on the planet, just imagine what you, our young Latinas and Latinos, our kids, will do. Si nosotros los padres creamos la 5ª economía mundial a través de nuestra contribución económica en este país, imagínense lo que nuestros hijos van a lograr. Gracias, adelante, vamos con todo, and congratulations. Thank you for having me. Gracias.